First, I want to begin this video off with all praise is due to Allah. I'm grateful for the moment. I'm grateful for the opportunity. And I'm grateful for the realization that, we receive for ourselves. Um, Mental health is very important um, outside of just trading because we all know that when it comes to being a trader, the majority of trading is really psychology. And the half of it is like actually trading and things like that. But the majority is psychology. And of course, I've known this, but I guess just realizing that I have uh, mental adversities that I was going through, and it just began to manifest itself. You know what I'm saying, outside of myself, and people are able to see it, and it was starting to affect how what I'm saying I move. And I want to give all praise due to Allah because that state or that person who I was being was not the true me. You know what I'm saying? The true me is, what I'm saying, way greater than that, way beyond that. A person who is just so much more than, what I'm saying, what I was presenting. Um, and just the first step that I came to myself and said was, it just starts with gratitude. Because you ask for increase, if you ask for more, what I'm saying, it all begins with gratitude. If you want change within your life, you first have to change yourself. So once my inner world changed, like the outside world begins to change for me. So you definitely have to have a mind exchange. You have to have a different way of thinking to receive, what I'm saying. What are you asking for? You have to have a change of hearts, what I'm saying, to receive what you're asking for. Um, and you also have to know that it's done. You know what I'm saying? You're not alone. You know what I'm saying? You have God with you along the way. Like even in moments where it seemed like you're alone, you always had God with you. And it's just a beautiful realization of in this, somewhere gratitude is where it begins with gratitude. So I'm definitely open to, what I'm saying, where life is gonna take me with this new awareness. And I pray that this is a consistent thing, not just a thing where it's just today and it's like the next day we back to where we were. Like I understand it's a step by step, a day by day process, and in the end, like I said, we're victorious because we have God with us. We're not alone. Um, I end up taking this position here, and I took profit on it. So let's see what I did differently to help me get to this conclusion and take this trade. There's a few things that I can say and a few things I will say. So uh, first, what I'm saying, we have this field right here, this major field, and we reach negative 61.8. When we get to negative 61.8, that just tells me that, there's a reversal coming. At this point, you see price, made negative 27 and it continued higher. And we was making these series of higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and we made a higher high with this field that we have here. This is point A. This is your impulsive push up. You have price made a correction, 61.8. There's a likelihood that price goes to negative 61.8. And it did in hindsight. But you see, the price pushed up, high and low. It I almost got it almost reached negative 61.8, but it came back and pushed down. And it began to push up again, and it actually reached this negative 61.8. So at the time, I'm pretty sure I didn't take a trade. Yeah, I remember seeing this. So this was the beginning of the week. So yeah, so I was seeing how price, at the time I was watching gold. Gold wasn't moving as much, but you know what I'm saying, SPX was the one that was moving. So while I was watching gold, waiting for a setup on gold, which, you know what I'm saying, gold is actually now making a move now. I was watching gold while SPX was doing this. And SPX ended up did reaching negative 61.8. So from here, you know what I'm saying, price started to sell down. You see we had this high here. You see we had a break under this structural point and price continued to push down. Prior to all this, I had this 4 hour breaking structure line here because this was a 4 hour high at the time. And you see we had this impulsive push up. And as soon as we have an impulsive push up, I'm automatically thinking about, you know what I'm saying, price is going to have some type of correction. So jumping down time frames, we see price was, you know, having a correction. And I actually was looking for price to see if price was going to bounce off this line here exactly, then start to push up. But then again, this is where the psychology part come into it. I had to be mindful that there's a lot of breaks and retests. A break and retest could have looked like one bearish candle continue higher. It can look something like this. It pushed down to this high, push higher, push down to this high, or even this green line and push up, or even have a deeper pullback, you know what I'm saying, to push up, which something almost like something what it's doing now. But at the time, we seen that price was making these series of lower lows, lower highs, lower low, lower high. We seen that we had this bearish push down under this 4 hour uh, bearish breaker structure level that I had marked up. We had this impulsive push down, and price started to push its way up. So from here, I actually place a field. This is from your high. This is your impulsive push down, and we're looking for a correction. Um, One thing that I can say that I did in this position that was, you know, quite different than what I would usually do. I actually, you know, got in this position while this candle was still open. So I usually get in a position when the candle is closed, but I got in while this candle was still open, and as you see, it started to push up. It kept pushing up, and my entry is about at this 4 hour level. It kept pushing up, but we see it did reach this 50% on the field before, you know what I'm saying, push it down and making its way down to my take profit. Uh, and just to back up a bit, I at first I did not have this trend line here, so it's green, so I marked it up on the 4 hour. At first I did not have this trend line here, but I drew this trend line because I seen how prices, you know, on the uptrend. This is point one, this is point two. Point three, it came to it, and there's a likelihood that price could come to this point again for a third time. Um, so I was looking for that as a potential stopping point for price. I also lined up with this negative 27. I was looking for that to be a potential stopping point. Uh, and that's exactly what it did. And I just, like I said, had to give praise to a lot because there's moments where, you know what I'm saying, we could have went for more greed. You know what I'm saying? I could have had the mindset that, okay, we reached negative 61.8 and I can maximize more profits targeted down at this low here or this negative 61.8. And you see, you know what I'm saying, if I would have been targeting it, I would have already been back out of profits about, you know, around to break even right now. But just taking it step by step, which is something I've been hearing, learning, implementing for myself, there was just the perfect exit, you know what I'm saying, that you could have took for this. Um, don't allow greed to blind, you know what I'm saying, where price can potentially stop at. And it's okay with monitoring the market and just to see, you know what I'm saying, what price does. Because if we did something like this and you see we had this break under close under here, but immediately we have this 3 hour candle bearish like this and push up, that's a sign that, hey, it's going to push up. You know what I'm saying? So But me, I wasn't watching at the time. This actually took profit around 5 in the morning. This was when I was resting, so I actually had a take profit order here, and it hit the take profit order. Um, just to go back a little more, so I usually don't take trades on 30 minutes, but I went back to, what I'm saying, where I began, and I went back and reviewed our videos of uh, of us learning this strategy, the way how I trade, and the exercise or the way it was taught was really to, get the right now money. You know what I'm saying? Get what's on the 30 minutes. Because I do trade, prior to this, I was doing like, what I'm saying, a 1 hour, which is nothing wrong with the 1 hour because I do hold those positions long enough for them to be like a 1 hour. But we have to be able to see like the minor structures. And that's basically what I was taught. See those minor structures to right now money. So this is a position that we was able to execute at the nearly at the end of the New York session on Tuesday. It's about 2:30, and we actually took profit on this right before the New York session Wednesday. So that was a good trade. As you see, it was pretty much nearly a 2-to-1 risk to reward. I believe we ended up profiting $246. Praise due to Allah, and that was good. I'm grateful for that. So the next thing we just have to do is just just see what the see what the market is doing, and just begin to react off that. So as we see, prices pushed up back to this 4 hour this 4 hour breaking structure level, and start to have like some type of rejections here. So they could be a sign for us of, what I'm saying, continuing down lower. Because if we do, we see this just another lower high. So if we draw our structure, and we're going to draw so we actually get a visual, you have the high, you have a low, you have a higher low, a lower low, a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and price push up currently rejecting here. This can potentially be a lower high. And if this is a lower high, they're just letting us know that there's a likelihood the price can make a lower low. But just like I said, just in the art of psychology and just being in the markets for as long as we've been in and seeing how things move and flow, we can easily see price come back down to this trend line, make a higher low, and push up. So we just have to be reactive to price at the time. But we are seeing that price is starting to reject here and push down. Of course, it's 30 minutes from now, or 26 minutes from now. Price can do anything within that 26 minutes, but it's currently looking like, what I'm saying, what it's doing. Especially off this 1 hour, we have this bearish candle. Pardon me, this bullish candle, low volume candle. And if this candle closed within an hour, like high volume like this, something like a engulfing candle, we can see this being, a continuation to the downside. There's probably nothing else I have to say here. That was probably the silence. But this was happening at the time I was watching gold. Gold was doing this right here, moving sideways. Didn't take a position on it, but what I'm saying, after the fact, it made it back to this low. So at the time, it was in this range. I honestly didn't know what price was going to do, but you see, we was in this range, and we see the price made it down to this low and started to push up. I didn't have this Fibonacci here at first. That field was placed after we got this break above. And of course, we look for a retest, and this is where I said a retest could look like many different things. Of course, this break happened. I was waiting for a retest. You see, the next candle was another bullish candle. We reached negative 27, and next we had this candle that pushed down, actually found like support at this -27 level. So this could have been like your retest for your continuation. And you see it immediately it continue to trade up to -61.8. And that was gold. So correction, continuation, correction, continuation. See that break it is low, break it is low, low high, low high. So price could be preparing to sell just based off the structure that it's making. We did break this structure point here, and you see we made a lower high. And you see this is currently like a lower high relative to that high here. So this could be selling. And we are at this -61.8. And we've yet to have like a retest down here. So we'll just be mindful of that. I do remember on Forex Factor we have unemployment claims tomorrow. So we could see how the news catalyst can affect, you know what I'm saying, the market. But yeah, I believe that's all. I'm just gonna leave it at for right now. Like I said, it all begins with gratitude. It all begins with, you know what I'm saying, the changing of the mind, the changing of the hearts. And that's when you're going to be able to get the life that's already planned for you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm grateful for being here. I'm grateful for choosing this journey, choosing this life, choosing this path. And like I said, there's moments where we have adversities. There's times when we have hardship, you know what I'm saying? But we have to know at the end, is already given to us. And we have to give thanks for that.